And breathe and breathe and breathe. Come back to your breath over and over and over again as you draw your attention inward. Let yourself play with your breath almost, the way my cat is playing with this sheet behind me. Play with your breath the way you would sort of play with a ball. Actually, I have a ball to play with, and it's the Hoberman sphere. And so let your breath be as expansive as this sphere, like breathing front to back, side to side on the inhale, and then on the exhale, let everything compress in, especially your core, and especially the muscles between your ribs. Breathing is good for your back. Breathing is good for your abs. And the practice of breathing is something that you can sprinkle throughout your day over and over and over and over. You can let your breath be the centering, central guidance for all the thoughts that come through that you don't like, for all the ways that you get scared, get angry, for all the ways that we feel all our feelings, even our happiness and joy. We can bring in this big, huge sense of a big full belly breath and a big empty belly, or like a tight squeeze, core strong belly exhale. All right, ready to get on your backs?
Always.
All right. Always. Heels under the knees. And then place the hands under the small of the back. Oh, it could be a little tender for your shoulder. I know it's not tender for my left shoulder, but it's tender for my right shoulder. And so the hands are there just to keep the small of the back sort of lifted, the amount of your hands. And then kind of tuck the chin and lift the head. And it kind of feels like you're not doing anything. But this is warming up our abdominals. This is a movement that helps isometrically engage the core. All right, head can come down, arms can come out. You can windshield wiper your knees. Take the arms over the head. And then we'll do it again. So pressing the feet into the earth, knees above the feet, and then the palms of the hand under the small of the back. Tucking the chin slightly and then lifting the head, but only like an inch off the floor, or half an inch off the floor, like barely lifting the head up at all. And then remembering to breathe and placing the head back down and removing the arms. And windshield wipering the knees again. Lower the knees to the left and to the right. Arms over the head, stretching the arms over the head. Before this, I was dreaming that I was a server at a bar restaurant. Mm-hmm. And there was somebody on the phone that couldn't, so I couldn't like ring up an order while somebody was on the phone. And so this lady was waiting forever for her food because I never ring it in. I'm glad I'm a yoga teacher.
I'm not going to take any calls, don't worry.
All right, one more time, hands under the small of the back. Just palm down, feet under the knees, pressing into the ground with the feet just slightly, and then tucking the chin slightly and lifting the head about an inch. And that is it, just lifting the head. That's the whole movement for the supporting the core, for supporting the back. And lay the head down. Lift the hips now, remove the arms. We're in bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana, which, if you can, tuck the tail between the legs and slightly roll the shoulders underneath. And holding this isometrically for a few breaths. Breathing high into the chest. And then slowly release the upper back. And then the mid back. And then eventually lower the low back. And then we'll go up and down. First place, let's say right leg up to the sky. And then using the strength of your core and your breath, on the exhale, lift the hips up. And then lower down. And let's do 3 more of these one-legged bridges. Floating up and floating down on the inhale and on the exhale. Let that right leg land down, extend the left leg up, and then do 5 on this side. Use your breath to help you come up. Let's try inhaling up and then exhaling down. After 5, release the leg down, and I'm really into these windshield wipers, lowering one side and lowering the knees to the other side, both this back and forth motion with the legs, but arms over the head. And I like giving the prompt to yawn and stretch your jaw. Bridges again. Lift your hips. This time, roll, keep your hips lifted. Roll onto the right shoulder and touch with your left hand across the body diagonally. And then same thing. Lift onto the left shoulder and touch the right arm across the body diagonally. Scoop the tail between the legs. And do that 5 times too. 5 on each side. So I'm doing it on the inhale. Inhaling, lifting my hand across the body, touching down diagonally over the head, exhaling in center, and then inhale, lifting the hand across the body diagonally. Couple more. And after 5 on each side, lower the upper back, mid back, and lower back. And then lift the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug here. Hug your knees in. Draw circles with the knees. Lifting the nose toward the knees. And then extending the legs along the earth. The hands over the head, big stretch, big yawn. Just kind of squeeze your thighs, point your toes, make fists with your hands, squeeze your abs and your arms. And then flex your toes and point your toes, squeeze your buttocks, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything, and then let everything relax. And then we'll do that again. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Curl your toes. Make fists with your hands. Scrunch up your face. Squeeze your abs and your thighs and your buttocks. And then release. A big sigh. And then roll over onto your side. Hang out with your knees bent on your side, with your body resting on your forearm. You can let your body sort of slump down toward the earth here, and then this is the move. You just pick up your lower half of your waist, and that's it. That's phase 1. That's the easiest version of the side plank. The knees are bent, the body slumps down, and then you hold this lower part of your body up for 5 or 10 breaths. you're feeling really strong today and you want to do more, you can take the top leg, bend it, put it in front of your other leg, and instead of just lifting up the waist when you slump, after you slump down, lifting, then lift the hip. So this is the, if you're feeling stronger today, harder version. If you don't have any shoulder issues, and if you're feeling like the Hulk today and you want to lift up both legs, both feet are down, you can either stack the feet or put one foot in front of the other. After the slump down, then lift up the whole lower half of the body without a kick. To do that, I have to use loud breathing. My favorite right now is just this small isometric, both knees down, both knees bent, that phase one, the easiest version. I can still feel it working.
I can a little too, yeah.
I have a little scoliosis, some curvature in my low back. And one of the suggestions is to do this on the side where the back is weaker. People with scoliosis have like one side of their back that is crunched up and tighter and basically stronger, and then the other side is like overstretched and weaker. So you ready to do the other side? Take a little break on your back. And do one of those full body stretches where you reach away with your arms and yawn and squeeze and tighten, and then this reminds me of like when I was in high school doing relaxation exercises in theater. We would tighten and tighten and tighten and squeeze, 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 and then relax everything. Ready to do the other side? I'm going to do the same side since I have that good old curvature in the low back. And so what's happening is we're strengthening the bottom side. So phase one, the easiest version. You can tell if you're doing it right, because if you're slumping down, that's not right. So then you just lift up the low back and the side of the body. And the knees are bent. It's the easiest version of side plank. It's this isometric, it's very strong on the shoulder though. So if you have any shoulder issues, really be mindful of that. And then the next version is the kickstand in the front. You can try that on this side if you're feeling strong. And lifting the whole leg and half of the body. Some people like to take the arm up. I like to do the warrior breath here, Ujjayi breathing. Looking up is an option. And then for those of us that are feeling like that is really easy, you can do both legs, feet stacked or feet right in front of each other for this side plank. I didn't say this on the other side, but there is the option to do it on the palm of the hand, where you're lifting everything in the hand.
Yeah, different.
But I don't have wrist issues, but after 16 years of doing body work, I don't like to do the stuff on my wrists. Good. So let's roll onto our hands and knees from here. Crawl onto your hands and knees. And we'll go through some basic cat-cow Marjariasana first. So like the Halloween cat, press up through each articulation of the spine, tucking the chin. And hang out here for a little while. If you had a tail, tuck the tail between your legs, chin toward the chest.
Oh, you guys got down on some serious.
And I've got my hands in fists again because of my protecting my wrists. And I'm on a very squishy mat, so. But traditionally your hands would be flat. And if you need something under your knees, you can put a pillow or a blanket or a towel. So moving into the cow position, the sway back position, start by tipping the tail up first. And then one vertebra at a time, give your spine a really slow transition to looking up. It's like we're unsticking each vertebra. And then to get back to cat pose, start with the head, tucking the chin first. And then one vertebra at a time, pressing up to the sky. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing your core. And starting at the tail. Lifting the tail up first, and then one vertebra at a time. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Raising the crown of the head. And then let yourself press back to child's pose. So drop the hips over the ankles. Extend the arms over the head. And rest. Rest, rest, rest. I'm gonna close this door. I don't know if you could hear my roommates. Child's pose, Balasana. I'm gonna get some blocks for our second version of our cat-cow. So pressing back up to tabletop to all fours. I'm gonna use blocks. It's kind of easier for my wrists. Starting in the cat position, Halloween cat position. Marjariasana. Squeeze your buttocks, chin to chest. Abdominals pressing up, belly button to spine. It's gonna be more shallow breath. Isometric toning. And then starting with your tail, tail up. Start the inhale. And then give yourself several breaths in and out, raising the tail, and then one vertebra at a time, articulating the spine until you find the opposite ankle, looking up. And then again, keep that arch in the low back, and then begin to tuck the chin. Press the back door of the heart up, and then one slowly vertebra, slowly pressing up, exhaling slowly until the low back is rounded up and the buttocks are tight and the belly is squeezing up to the spine. Let's do one more cow, the sway back cow, starting with the tail. Sticking the tail up, sticking your booty up. From the low back, each vertebra changing the angle of the spine. Check in with your shoulders that they're kind of rolled back and down and not crunching up by the ears as you make your way to looking up. Also for the curvature in my spine, the scoliosis, I have this impulse to tilt my hip to one side, the side where it's overstretched, so that the side that's over tight or curved towards, that side's getting a little bit of a stretch as I arch my back. All right, let's come to neutral now. So how do you get your spine nice and straight, neutral? I'm gonna get a pillow for my knees too. So from here, this one is lifting the knee. So lift your right knee and see if you can just touch it with your hand. And then extend to our bird dog or tricky cat. But the trick is to keep your back straight.
Oh, that's hard.
And then bring your knee in your hand and touch and bring it down. Whew. Other side, right hand, left knee, touch. Bring your knee up and touch your left knee.
Oh, okay.
And then extend.
I could do that.
Leg in the arm, tricky cat, bird dog.
Earlier I was doing both on the same side. That's
I know, it's even harder if you try and do same leg, same knee. Like it's super wobbly if you try to do that. So it's opposite arm, opposite knee.
Gotcha. Okay.
From here, we'll take the knee, same side now, same side, left knee to left elbow, and then slide the knee down toward the wrist and then put it back down. And then do the right knee, right elbow. Just put your knee there and slide the knee down toward the wrist. We'll do that just like twice. So same side, left knee, left elbow, draw the knee down toward the wrist, and then put the knee back down on the floor. Right knee, right elbow, slide down. And then put the knee back down on the floor. Rest in child's pose for 3 breaths. I like to take really long, deep breaths. All right, back to our tabletop How's your wrists?
Good.
So take your, we'll do the same 2 moves again. Take your right hand to left knee. The spine is straight though, and the key is to keep the spine straight throughout this movement. So pick up the right hand, pick up the left knee, touch, and then extend right and left. Place the hand and knee back down, and then left hand, right knee touch, and extend. Bird dog. Put the hand and knee down, other side again. This is good for your brain too, for kids. Teaching left and right. Right hand, left knee, and then extend, inhale. Place the hand and knee back down, and then left hand, right knee touch, and extend. Breathe, and then put the hand and knee down. And we'll do the knee to elbow. So same side now, same side, same side. We'll do left first. Left knee to left elbow, and then slide down the forearm toward the wrist. Put the knee back down, and then on the exhale, right knee to right elbow, slide down toward the wrist. One more each side. Left knee, left elbow, slowly, isometrically down to the wrist. Breathe. Right knee, right elbow, and slowly draw the knee down toward the wrist. Next is our kind of lunge position. So you really might need a pillow for this part. It's 90-degree angles too, so it's not your usual lunge. My head is chopped off. So if you've got something under your knee, great. And then the action is isometric movements. It's like scissoring the legs toward each other. So I'm pressing my foot into the ground, I'm pressing my knee down, and then I'm like hugging my foot and my knee towards each other. So see if you can give yourself 5 breaths here, isometrically holding. Oh goodness. Kicked my cat in the head. And then we'll do the other side. So knee down on the pillow or the blanket. Right knee down, left knee up. Normally when we're doing lunges in yoga, it's like these long lunges, we're stretching. Now we're doing this isometric action. Got these stretches from Julian Walker, these exercises to stabilize the hips and the back. So again, the action is coming this way, pressing the foot into the ground, pressing the knee into the ground, and kind of like hugging the legs toward each other. And I'm getting the strangest sensations on my thigh. It's like I'm exercising the hamstring and the thigh and the hip flexor and the core. Let your belly move when you breathe in and out. And after 5 breaths, release. And switch again. That way we're not spending too much time on the one knee, putting too much pressure on that knee. This time the action is going away. So I'm still pressing in the floor with my foot and my knee, but now I'm isometrically pushing away. I'm taking the pressure into the mat that way and that way, away from each other. I did this sequence yesterday and I'm really sore through my thighs. So that's probably where you'll feel it most. 5 breaths. Lift the heart, roll the shoulders back and down. And after 5 breaths, we'll switch sides. Give yourself a sigh. Reward yourself with a deep cleansing breath. Okay, so the other side, pressure into the earth with the knee and the foot away from each other. So it's this isometric movement. It's like I'm pushing into my foot that way and I'm pushing into my knee behind me. 5 breaths, isometrically holding that. I love the Ujjayi breath. The warrior breath, the sounding breath. Great. Let's lay on back down onto the back. So, big stretch. Reach the hands over the head, squeeze the thighs, curl the toes, yawn, make fists, squeeze the buttocks. And then let's take a happy baby. You're welcome to hold on to the back of the thighs, the calves, the ankles, the outside edge of the feet. You're also welcome to rock a little from side to side. And then bring the bottoms of the feet together. And then extend the legs. And that's our little yoga for back stuff practice. Today, we'll take a little rest, just a 1 minute, 2 minute Shavasana to integrate. So you can lay here and let your breath return to normal and do one more squeeze, tighten, squeeze, 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 and relax. Let the jaw relax, make space between the teeth. Tongue relaxing, eyes and the muscles of the eyes relaxing. And begin to wake yourself up with any movement that feels easy and generous. Really love to windshield wiper the knees. I think because it's such a nice little thigh stretch and it gets into the low back. Swaying the knees from side to side too. Stretching my shoulders somehow with my arms over my head. So I really like that as a wake up move. We can roll over onto the side. Pause for appreciation. Appreciate you for being part of this. And then press up. And give ourselves the mantra. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, peaceful, and free.